Good afternoon. This is Bev from Art by Bedell, and today we are going to add a large envelope such as this to the inside of our first signature page. Before we do that, of course, we need to jazz it up a little bit. I have my palette, I have my gesso, and I am going to take some of this and put it on my palette with my palette knife. Bring this over to the side. I have my brayer right here, and I'm going to roll my brayer into my gesso, and then I'm going to take my envelope and I'm going to start back here, and I'm going to go down like this. So I like to start back, bring it down, and then brayer it out. I don't want a real heavy coat of paint that is going to take forever to dry. And I like a little bit of this color of this envelope to show through. So that's what I like right there. Let's do this to the back also. I will go left, right, top to bottom. I will not go diagonally. I just don't like that look. Personal preference. I believe that's enough. And get it off our page now. Our paper. There we go. Add just a little bit more to that where I had to pull it off, and add a little bit up here where I didn't get any the first time around. There we go. So I will now take this and put this aside and dry this. When I go to heat set this, I want to be careful not to bubble it. So I'm going to move my heat around. So I'm going to take my heat gun, turn it on, and move it around until I get it dry, and then I'll be back. And because I brayered on such a light layer, that did not take very long to dry. I want to add some ink to this, and I want to use the two colors that I've been using, which is the Salty Ocean. I'll start with that, and I'm just going to go around and add some ink color here and there. Adding it lightly so that I can blend it in and not have like really gobs of dark color in one spot or the other. As lightly as I can. I'm kind of heavy-handed with things. Do that to the front and then turn it over and do that to the back. It takes no time at all. Yeah, I'm getting some dark spots. It'll be okay. If I would take it and start off the page and bring it onto the page, I wouldn't be getting those dark spots as bad. All right, so there we have the Salty Ocean. We'll put this aside. And we have our other applicator tool with our Kitsch Flamingo, and we're going to add that. This you can go heavier with because it's a lighter color. The blue is intense color. I want some of the envelope to show through. It's pretty. I'll do it to the back side. All right, happy with that. I did not make a prototype, so from here on out, guys, we're playing. Now, my cleanup paper. This is how it all begins. It begins with a little bit of the blue rubbing on, some stenciling or going on here, and some pink. This is how my cleanup paper begins. Let's go back to this. I have some sprays in the same colors, I believe. All right, I thought I had it in both colors, but I only have it in Salty Ocean. So let's get this mixed up here. A little bit on there. I have picked raspberry. Let's put some of this on here and get the pink going on. So that's a lot brighter. It'll be okay. Apparently this is what I used on the other pages. Then I have some old paper. Let's see how that looks on here. And then we'll heat set that. All right, I'm going to go around the outside of this with Vintage Photo. And mist that with a mini mister. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see it. I like the spottiness that we're getting a little bit here. And I think that'll be good. And then we can go ahead from here and layer that with some papers. That's how we started. Let's go and do that. Everything I did here to this side Go around the edge with our vintage photo. Little mist. And dry it. All right, there we have our envelope so that it kind of matches. At least we used the same colors, although I didn't add the photo here. I added the coffee. I wished I would have added coffee to this instead of the old paper. I'm not so impressed with the old paper on this project. We'll try it again on another one and see what we think. Anyhow, that is what it is. And I think I want to tone this down a little. So I am going to take my brayer with my gesso and go over that a little bit. Be right back. All right, so you might be asking, why would I go to all the trouble of gessoing and then adding ink with the ink pad and then adding sprays and drying it all and then gessoing it again? This is the look I'm after. If I wouldn't have added this last coat of gesso, it would have been too bold for me. But yeah, I wanted all those colors underneath showing through. So this is what I have. This is what I started with. This is what I have. This is what I'm happy with. From here, we need to add a little collage and a focal point and have this so that it will look good. And this is where we're going to put it, on the inside of our signature. And if you remember right, the one project we did was a junk envelope, and we added it to the inside of that signature. We're going to add this to the inside of this signature with a clip so that it can be taken out, so this can be journaled on. And that looks pretty together. Looks very pretty together. Let's see what we can do about decorating this. Now, we haven't yet used any of our ledger paper that we made. How about that? Shall we use maybe just the snowflake border, or do we want to add in some green? I don't know. I'm just not sold on adding in too much green to this journal. So let's tear this down and get these snowflakes that we put on here with a stencil with embossing paste, and then went over them with our pink flamingo ink pad. And I don't want to lose these numbers, so I'm not going to rip that off. I don't want this to be any taller than my envelope, not including the flap. So I'm going to tear off this last snowflake, and that can be used somewhere else. Put that aside. Actually, maybe we'll use that on the back of it. And then we have this. So since this is torn and this is torn, I'm going to tear this top here just a little bit. It shortens it a little bit more, but it'll be okay. And then I'm going to go around the whole outside edge of this with the vintage photo, which is my ink of color of choice for this journal. I didn't want to go too dark, so I'm liking that on there. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up too, because I think I'm going to use it somewhere on this, maybe on the back side. And then I think we need something more. Let's put that paper aside. We could use some dictionary paper. The snowflakes, it's not quite long enough. All my choices are up here. Let's add some of this. I really like this. Let's add that. Do we want to add that much of it? Well, let's tear a strip off. And this is the wax paper that we embossed snowflakes with modeling paste, and my dot stencil with modeling paste. And keep that snowflake and tear off this one. I like this edge over here and this edge over here. And I think we want to make it the same or shorter. So let's tear this off and make that shorter. There we go. I didn't want it taller than the ledger paper. It's good. We can ink up around that also. We really only have to do the 3 sides that we're going to see. Like this. Choose a focal point. How about that? Snow globe. And this comes from the kit. I kind of like that. So I've already inked up the edge of that, so I don't need to do that. But do I need to add some fibers, texture of some sort behind there? We still have our ruffle. Is that like too much on that? I think it is. So I think what we'll do is add one of our snowflakes that we have. How about this one that we embossed, where I was showing you how to emboss that circle? Some lace. I think it's going to have to be some cheesecloth. Just cut a piece of that and put that behind our circle like this. Yes, yes, yes. This is all coming together. And then maybe one of our little word labels. Just snow. Let's just put the word snow on there. And that's been inked around also. So I think that completes that little front to our big envelope. Let's glue this all down. And I am using the Yoo-Hoo glue stick for this. Now I want to make sure that I get this about where I want it. And that is about where I want it, right there. I just love the wax paper. The look of that, I just love it. All right, then we'll add this on again with the Yoo-Hoo glue stick. And we could be adding a pocket to the front of this, but I guess we kind of are not. We still could with our, we could add a little pocket to the front, like right here, or a tuck spot right there. Do we want anything on the front of this? This is going to go on here. Let's leave it as a tuck spot. I can close it up later if I decide I don't want to add it. So I'm going to add glue to two sides, the right and the bottom. And I'm going to use, let's see, the right and the bottom, my art glitter glue. A little bit heavier stream. Put that right up there like that. Press it down firmly. Encourage it to stick to that embossing paste. And then we're going to add our cheesecloth. And I know that I want to put it right in this area, so I'm just going to put some glue randomly down. And then lay our cheesecloth on top like this. And then put more glue on our pink circle and put that right on top of our cheesecloth, just like that. Press it down firmly so it goes all the way through the cheesecloth. And then we have our label that says snow. And we're going to go around all four edges of that. And before we had it going off to the side here, I think I'm going to have it come down here. That ties this all in together. There. Now, about the tuck spot. Let's see if we have something that we might want to put in there. We have some little tags from the kit, and they are right here, the deer and the fox. What else do we have? We have a little one like the bird and the fox. The little ones are too small. If I would have made this the tuck spot, the bird would have been perfect. Darn. So those are too small. I think this is too big. It's the same size as that, so we don't want to use that. All right, so it's looking like one of these are our best bet unless we make our own. So the deer could go down in there like that. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's too plain. I think I'm going to have to sit on this one because I can't decide what I want to do there. Okay, I could have you watch me go through this and watch me go through that and still not come up with anything. When I'm undecided, I'm undecided. So we're going to leave this alone. And for now, we're going to call that done. On the back, I want to add this snowflake here. And I want to have it hanging off of the flap. We could also use a little bit of this paper. And when the flap opens up, that opens up too. Or we could put it down here on the corner and just leave the flap alone. We put some of this across the bottom like this, and then put the snowflake on top like that. I think that's a better deal. Let's do that. It's not overly done. The back just needs a little bit. We'll ink this up with our vintage photo. And that's going to go on there. I may end up having to make more of this paper before our project's done. And let's glue that on with Yoo-Hoo glue right across the bottom of our envelope like that. And then let's glue on this snowflake. We could tear around that. I don't want to. So I want to leave it just the way. You know what? Let's learn from the front. We made a mistake by not making a pocket, a small pocket on the front. Let's make a small pocket on the back. Right about there is where I want to put this. And what I have is a little tuck spot right here. I think actually I'm going to make it into a pocket. And then remember that tag that I said was too small? We have the owl, the fox, the bird, and the bunnies. I like the owl peeking out just like that. Let's add an eyelet to that. Ink up around the back edge of that because we're going to see it. Stamp on it with our line stamp. There we go. Let's put an eyelet on there, a silver one, a 3/16 inch side here for punching. And we'll go right there. Put our eyelet in. Turn this over and give it a little crimp. And we have a nice little eyelet on there. Let's add some of our silver wire. I fold it in half, make a loop, put the loop through my eyelet, and then I take the tails and I put them through the loop and pull it tight. Just like that. And then if I think it's too long, I trim it off a little. And then he'll sit right, now that's cute. I do like him in there. That's a nice little pocket for our little owl. So we have a tag on the back, but not necessarily on the front. I could close this up, but I'm gonna wait to make sure that I am done with it. I think we need to go around the outside edge again with our vintage photo. Here we have it, guys. That project is finished. We went from this to this. They both have a purpose to serve, but I like this one for this journal. So here's our journal signature. This is the page that it's going to go on. And I think inside we need some copy paper. Coffee stained copy paper. Go around the edge of this with our vintage photo, both sides. It'll have to be folded in half to go down inside our envelope. And I think it needs a snowflake. Let's do pink. I think it needs to be on every side. There we go. Take our envelope and put this right down inside for some journaling space. All right, and as I say, I am out of paper clips. When I get more paper clips, I will clip this together. There we have it, guys. Another page in our journal finished. Thank you for joining me today. It's always more fun when you're here with me, and I hope you'll come back again soon for another page in our snowflake journal. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.